be quite so emotional, but I should have known I am my nanny's granddaughter after all. So as Mom would talk about her names, I couldn't pronounce Grandma whenever I started talking, so it was Nan, and then eventually Nanny. How many of us could say that our grandma was our best friend? I can. I'm so thankful. All those years with her, I spent most of my childhood by her side. We would talk about life and snip green beans and wait for Papa to get home. And I went, like Mom said, we went through so many stories. There are so many stories, but the one that I wanted to share the most, I brought what has become one of my most prized possessions here. It's a wishes for baby card that friends and family filled out at my baby shower almost 6 years ago now, which is wild. And so it's, I hope you, and then there's fill in the prompt. And the first one here that she filled out, it says, I hope you love, and she wrote, always me. Because in her own way, she was saying, I hope that you love me back as much as I love you. My son does share a middle name with my papa, and that was always really special to them. And then one of our other favorite things here on the card that she filled out, there's a few other things, but in this prompt here it says, I hope you become a good Baptist.
That's what she wanted for her Dawson, was to be a good Baptist.
And I think it's a great illustration because the things that she valued, as Mom, as my uncle said, it was her faith in her family. And I am so thankful for the front row seat that I had. I watched her, weather all of life's storms and ups and downs. And she did it in servitude and prayer. Sometimes she was praying out loud in the car. Sometimes she was singing terribly off key in the kitchen. But there's a passage in the Bible. It's in Matthew 9 and Mark 5. We read about the faith of the woman who knew that she could be healed of a great affliction if she only touched Jesus' robe. And Jesus and his disciples were on their way to Jairus' house, but Jesus felt the power go out from him when she touched him. And so he said, who touched my garment? And she said, it was me. And he said, daughter, be of good comfort. Thy faith hath made thee whole. And that's what her example was. That is what I saw every day of my life. She would tell me, no matter the circumstance, the solution was Jesus Christ. She would tell me, just pray and ask Jesus to sit on my bed and hear my troubles. She would sing hymns to me and hold me in her lap from the time that I was a baby till I was way too big to be held in Mom's lap. Her face was in every crowd that I looked into, every dance recital. If I was sick, if I needed a day with her and Papa would be there. I have the most amazing memories of being in the car with them separately and together, and her drive to be the best wife, mom, grandma, nanny, that stayed with her. Even after we lost Papa, her only concern was for others. She could be having a really emotional day, she could have a really bad day, her caregivers could tell us, she's been sad today or whatever. But if we got there, are you okay? Can you do it? Can I do anything for you? I'll pray for you. I often like to joke that aside from my little boy, the best gift that I ever gave her was my husband. He answered every call. He made every Walmart run. He fixed every electronic device. Many, many times. Every time it was needed. She was an absolute legend. There's really no other way to describe it. And her spunk, or her wit, and her swift and unwavering sarcasm if she was displeased are the things that I will probably miss most about her. She was the baby whisperer. If if you had a baby, any baby, they would immediately go to sleep whenever they were handed to her. I would not be 5% of the woman and person that I am with her. If you have your grandparents, please call them today. Thank you.
One thing I didn't mention, as I'm standing here looking at this Chiefs blanket.
That too.
Years ago, when Dad first got saved and first started preaching, he studied all the time. So Mom was usually the one that would take me, everywhere that I needed to go during my whole school, my school years. And she loved to go to a Seneca football game. Man, she loved to go to a Seneca football game. And she took me to all of them, and we would sit there and, enjoy the game or whatever. But she's always loved football. And she loved her Kansas City Chiefs, let me tell you. Patrick Mahomes walked on water. That's what she thought. So we brought her, Ellie, my niece Ellie, made her this blanket. And if you could have seen the look on her face when she opened that up and saw it. That blanket stayed on her. She was never without it.
Stop.
It was on her person all the time. So thank you guys for coming. We appreciate all of you so much. We love you so much. We have a great family, but we also had great persons to show us how to be a family. And we just want to celebrate her today.